Shout out to my colleague, one of my mentors, Auntie Donna Hopkins, for passing that video along to me. That was her asking the questions there. So give Donna a shout out, a high five, a tag to let her know that we watched her video and her questions because she sent that along my way. And I get it. But let me tell you something. This is me being very objective. It's gonna be real hard for me to drag any coaching when the player's not making the plays. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to do that because here's the reality. We hear coaches take accountability. Coach Rivera said every week, that's on me. That's my fault. And don't nobody want to hear it. People want to get him fired every week, right? We hear that, right? So it's which one you going to do. There has to be the balance. If you want the coaches to get the smoke, the players got to get the smoke too. That's just the reality. You know, whomever is in the leadership position, you can't just say, well, as far as I'm concerned, this team loses enough for everybody to be like, okay, well, they had a moment. Well, how many more moments do you need? Because you on the lose, you have more losses than you do wins. So when is your moment going to be consistently positive, resulting in the win column? Right? And so now it gets hard. It gets difficult to say, okay, this one got to go, that one got to go. This we on the trade deadline. Well, because you see the case for it all. You see the case for coaches changes. You absolutely see it. It's abundantly clear. But then you can absolutely see the case for it was a critical moment. My leader's not leading. What you going to do? You know what I mean? What you going to do? And so hey, we better not. It's just like we said about Jahan Dotson. I don't know what's going on with Jahan, but they better figure it out because this isn't a good look. It's a bad look. Jahan was better this week, but everybody has to have, if you're being objective in this business, you have to be able to say your leaders got to show up in the trenches. I mean, Terry said it. You got to beat, how you going to beat a team like that? If you're not making the plays, you won't. And the Commanders don't. So we've seen them lose enough at this point where everybody's got to start showing up. Everybody. I mentioned to you all what Sam Howell said. We can win 9 straight games. Can you? I can tell you this. You can win them. How you lost them these 5, you can't do that. So if you believe that, and here's the thing, I believe you if you believe you. I believe you if you believe you. But that means you have to play mistake-free football. How many times have we heard, and let me be clear, because y'all hear me, hey, coaches, get it together. But I'm objective. I'm not going to give these players a pass. I'm not. You can't. You cannot. You know what I mean? You want to win 9 straight. What is everybody going to do differently in order to do that? And that is from a coaching perspective. Now everybody got to do something different because y'all heard me talk about putting players in positions to succeed and doing the proper development, which you'll never hear me waver from that. Absolutely. You better do that, right? Please. But now, players, that means you have to execute. You want to win 9 straight? Execute. Execute. Do the things that we see you do in practice. Do the things that you've been doing since you were a child. Do those things. Do those things. And basically what you are stating is you will. Because this could, I don't know. I mean, let's get into Coach Rivera's comments from today. Let's get into some of his comments from today. Let's just jump right on into, let's see. Let's start here. And he starts with the defensive line. We know this is in no particular order. And if you're just tuning in, you're now watching the Coaching from the Couch series, the Washington Commanders update. I'm your host, CWall, and this is a live Bowie television recording. We're getting into now Coach Rivera's after game day, so the Monday press conference, and I'm sharing here the transcript. And because there's so much talk about trades being made, defensive line, potentially Montez Sweat or Chase Young or Jonathan Allen, those are some of the names that continue to circulate. I'm going to start with this one first. And this was a question around how he feels the defensive line has played this season. He says, I think D-line has had its moments. He talked about yesterday holding one of the top rushing teams in the league to only 59 yards. We got good pressure on the quarterback. We could have used a little bit more. Obviously, especially in certain situations, they've definitely played solid at times and they've had their moments. We've just got to be consistent more so than anything else. Now his next comment on if the defensive line has played to the level that he has anticipated, he said it's not consistently enough. And again, you see it, but you've got to see it all the time. And that's really the mark of when it really comes together, is that it's consistent. Now, here's the thing. You all know I have been very, very, very critical of whose name isn't being called and of Coach Jack Del Rio, and I continue to be. And yeah, we saw some mistakes there in the trenches with the offense, but the Eagles still ended up scoring, 38? And here's the thing, y'all. I don't know if you saw it, but Jalen Hurts is hurt. He's visibly dealing with something. I think a bone bruise. He's got something going on. And he was still able to lead his offense to score 38. Now, let me say something else. Let me go back to all of the potential and all of the everything that this team had just a few weeks ago, just this summer. We all had it. I had it. A lot of my media colleagues had it. Was very confident. We still watch some of these games and we can't believe what we're watching. It's like, what was that? And so I'm gonna go to the trade. I'm sure it'll pop up because meaning the transcript here, because Coach Rivera, of course, was asked about the trade. He said he's not going to get into the trade talk, but he also said that maybe, on when we got to get through tomorrow. And then he says, and we'll have something to talk to you all about and have some answers to your question on Wednesday. So that led me to believe there is something in the works. Whether or not that something in the works comes to fruition, is unknown. We shall see, right? But I think the key here is a couple different things. Jonathan Allen was mad, but he never said he wanted out of Washington. So let me just clear that up real fast, because I know that was a whole lot of stuff, and I know that was said nationally. That's not what he said. He's frustrated. Yes, he's been here 7 years, but he never said he wanted out. He said he's frustrated. He didn't say he wanted out. Let's be really clear about that. And as local media, I just feel like, we still have an obligation, because we are there with these individuals, to be like, that's not what he said. So that's not what he said. And but hey, that's what is being said that he said, but that's not what he said. So, and I'm gonna keep saying that again, because I just have an obligation to report what's facts. Not with speculation based on what somebody thinks they meant. Go by based on what was actually said. And so frustration is warranted. Everybody's frustrated. Others, you look at Chase and how he's played so far this season, and statistically, he's doing well. I think Chase's dad called in to Grant Paulson. He called in, and he's been talking about his son and these parents. I told y'all, they listening. They're the team, the players, the more than you think. The players and their family, they're paying attention to what is being said and what is being reported more than you realize. So while I try to watch what I say, but I gotta be objective, and I gotta report the news. And I'm just still sitting here like, Chase is having, statistically, he's having a good year. He's having a solid year, but we know there's injury concerns. Montez has been consistent over the years. That is a player who is getting a lot of traction and a lot of attention. It's a couple different things I want to mention. Trading somebody, I don't know if that further hurts or helps the morale on your team right now. I don't know if they care. I don't know if it matters. There's obviously a market for linemen, right? We just saw the Giants trade their Pro Bowl lineman. We just saw the Eagles trade one of their linemen, defensive linemen, to the Falcons. And the Giants said, their Pro Bowl defensive tackle to the Seattle Seahawks. So, there's that. What does it do? What does it really do? What is the message you really send it? If you really believe that you can win with the team you have right now, and that is what you're telling people, and then you trade somebody, what are you really saying? What are you really telling people you believe? Do you really believe in this team, or have you given up and said, you know what, we just gonna focus on next year? And on top of that, do you even trust this leadership to be the ones to make the negotiation, to make the appropriate trades? Right now, if you already know that you chances are, if I'm the owner and I already know, I want you to ride this out, Coach Rivera and staff, because this is the team that you said you wanted. You've made largely most of these decisions, and this is what you created. This is what you were riding out with. This was the defense that you said you wanted. All you needed was some ball hawks. So you got you one in the first round and the second round. Okay, cool. We knew that you were rebuilding some things on the offensive side of the ball. You had to get a whole, basically restructuring your offensive line. You went out and got the offensive coordinator that you wanted. You drafted this quarterback in the fifth round. The other week, you told everybody that you were just a quarterback away. And you're actually still saying that in press conferences. You feel very optimistic about this team because of what you have in Sam Howell. So you're still making it about the quarterback. That means you're not talking about any other issues. So if you're going to ride off into the sunset, are you going to ride off with the team you got right now that you built, that you said that you believed in, or are you going to trade somebody for a future that more than likely you don't have here? If you're going to trade somebody, are you doing it to get better today? Are you going to do it so that you can get better on Sunday? Because if you're doing it for the future, then you are completely going against what you have told your team. And that is, you believe in this team, and that if they do your job and you all do your job as coaches, we good. And we can still win 9 games. We can still win 9. I'm going to put this up here because this is serious. I think this franchise and fan base has been under so much turmoil. I don't think people believe me when I say these guys are family members. And they believe each other. They believe in each other, and they believe their coaches, and they trust their coaches. So if you go and you trade somebody, I'm going to tell you something else Ron Rivera said. And I like Coach Ron Rivera a whole lot. All right, a lot. I do. He's a very nice man. He's always super kind to me and super, super supportive. But I have to report the news. He said one of the things that he regretted in Carolina was separating out and breaking up that defensive line. That's what he said. So if you do that mid-season, not when in that case, they're not your problem. Your defensive coordinator is more of your issue than your defensive line is. And are you seriously going to make a plan for a future that there's a strong possibility that you are not going to be a part of if this season does not go well. If I'm the new owners, I'm watching how you move with your current team. That's what I'm waiting for. And I'm waiting for you to give your ball hawking corners that you wanted so bad in the first and the second round. I want to see them developed in the manner in which they need to be in order to effectively cover wide receivers 1 and 2 in the National Football League. Not what they did in college, what they need to do in the professional level. Because we saw them put Emmanuel Forbes back on A.J. Brown. Hey, listen. It's a disaster. And every time they lined up, everybody said the same thing. Oh, gosh, he's going to throw it to A.J. Brown. Who in America didn't know that Jalen Hurts was going to go to A.J. Brown every time Forbes was on him? Who didn't know that? It was quite sad to see. I was kind of up. Made me sad. I was like, well, is anybody going to help him? Call Darryl Green. Darryl Green said he'll help him and give him 10 minutes. Just give him a chance. Give him a chance to work with him. He'll do it. He will do it. You know, you're just basing it on raw talent and you're not scheming out the best possible situation for the kid. Hey, listen, I'm not saying nobody's going to catch a touchdown on you. That's not what I'm saying. But you have to understand and plan for the physicality that some of these wide receivers in this league bring. You wanted ball hawks. You got your ball hawks. Now you help them. Your issue is not your defensive line. But if you want to trade them, okay. I'm not saying don't. But are you going to trade them for ask yourself the question, are you going to trade them for a future that you more than likely will not be a part of? Or are you going to roll and ride out with the team because you told them you were going to? I want to go back to something else, and this is related to the coaching player relationship, and everybody's probably heard of this now, right? The no challenge to the Eagles catch, and that's what I told y'all I was going to get back to. It's one of the things I told you I was going to get back to, the no catch. Or it was a catch. I'm not talking about Jahan's no catch, because that's a whole nother anything. The no challenge on the Eagles. What is it? 4th and 4, 4th and 5, 4th and 5. The no challenge. I don't know what the TV version showed, but the players knew that it wasn't a catch. I'm talking about the Commanders players. They were so and let me go to this. In the immediately after the game press conference, Ron Rivera looked over there. I was actually sitting on the left side, so he looked over at the right side of the media. So technically, he wasn't asking me because I was sitting on the left side. I was sitting on this side. Okay, because I always got to give you all a visual of what is happening in real life. And he said he still didn't know if he caught it. Then he looks and he says, "Did he catch it?" And we all in the room said, yes, he caught, or no, he didn't. Well, we knew Jahan caught it. This was a lot going on in this game. Catch, no catch. He said, well, did he catch it? No, he didn't catch it. So, they said he didn't catch it? Oh, all right. Ron. Your players are telling you that it wasn't a catch. They're saying it out loud. Ron is looking up at the big screen. And he waiting for the people upstairs to call downstairs to tell him, your players are down there on the sideline with you, and your players are telling you that it is not a catch, throw the flag. What happens? The Eagles already knew it wasn't a catch. And we knew it wasn't a catch just based on just based on the fact that the Eagles were so quick. Soon as they were getting ready to line up, I said, it's not a catch. It's not a, we all said it's not a catch. It's not a catch because they moving too fast to get the next play off. Ron was still waiting for the replay to come up on the big screen. Now, let me also say this. The officiating, now I don't think I'm going to get fined. Let us all pray. Okay. And if you are just tuning in, because I know it's a few of y'all that's on, you are watching the From the Culture from the Couch series, the Washington Commanders Update. I'm your host, CWall. Hit that love button. We still got time. We're still talking about it. Tag in your Washington Commanders loving family and friends. Drop a fire emoji. You can still share the show as well. We're talking this live conversation. This is a live Bowie television recording, so we still getting into all the conversation. I hope I don't get fined. Okay. I don't think the media doesn't need to get fined, right? Let me check the book. All I'm saying is there's reason. I at this point, I start wondering what's happening. I really do. I'm like, what is going on? The calls were egregious at times. And I think I know that Coach Rivera is very calm, cool, and collected. But let me tell you something. One thing that I agreed with Jack Del Rio on is he was losing his marbles on that sideline. And I said, I'm with you, Coach Del Rio, which is something that you don't hear me say very often. I was with him. With him. And I said, somebody's getting paid. Something is happening here because it's just that egregious. Now, I got to be objective. Don't give the referees an opportunity to call your game. Don't give them a chance. If you beat people straight out, you ain't got to worry about them. But let me say this. At sometimes in defining moments, a call, right, wrong, or indifferent, but a call could really change the trajectory of your game. It could mess you up. It really can. And that was just really sad what I saw each time. The officiate, and you all know something about CWall. And what's that? I'm not big on talking about the refs. I'm not big on that. But like, well, if you should have just beat them because we don't have time to talk about no referees. But I'm going to say, I sat right there one time and I said, they cheating a little bit. I think, something isn't right here. I know I'm a little tired from the weekend, but I can add and subtract. And this isn't adding up. I know 1 + 1 = 2 every time. But this right here is bad. It's bad. And then when you do something, when you have an opportunity now, all of a sudden, Jahan's isn't a catch. But this other one is a catch. Somebody is playing with the system. Somebody was playing with the system. And it was detrimental. And not only that, I felt really bad because I'm going to go back to my player notion. What's the message you're sending to your players? What is the message? Don't lose the locker room. You're already on the verge because you're telling everybody to do their job and sometimes they don't. But more often than not, things aren't going well on the leadership end, right? Just call it what it is. And this has been a disappointing year so far. It's been extremely disappointing. And in that moment, yes, Jack Del Rio was going off. But Ron, I need Coach Rivera he need to break a headset or something. Something needs to just put me out. Just put me out. I'm walking up to the podium at the end of the game, and I'm going to open up with just dock the fine from my check. Just dock it. Go ahead and take it out. You want to know why? Because I'm about to go on a rant, and I want you to go ahead and take it out of my check. And here's why. And that emotional rant last year he had about Carson Wentz, yesterday was time. Yesterday was time. Because you up on a trade deadline, and here's the reality. You don't want to trade anybody. You don't. Deep down, they don't want to trade anybody. They don't want to. but that doesn't mean they're not going to. The Giants that made a move with a D lineman, the Eagles that made a deal with a D lineman. People just making moves all over the place. And what you gonna feel like you're gonna be left out the party? I don't know, but I get the sense they really don't want to do it. But they feel like just to say they did something. Okay, fine, we'll do something. We'll just do it. You got to ride the rest of this season out for your players, and you're on the verge of lose. I don't think they are. Nobody's told me that they are. But at the same token, you can look and see the frustration is waning. It's weighing on people. Nobody likes to lose, and they're working really hard. It's not like they're not working hard. So to see it not come to fruition, hey man, something ain't adding up. And if you're not, and I see this comment here, if you're not going to make a move with your coaching staff, but you make a move with a player, you are conveying that you are always right. You always right. And the players are the ones with the problem. This is going to be very interesting. And I'm not convinced I'm not convinced that they're not going to make a move. It's for sure under consideration. And what's crazy is I'll be very, in the spirit of transparency, I will actually not be able to be in Ashburn on Wednesday. I'll go later in the week, but I have some prior speaking engagements I need to do, and so I'm not going to be able to be there on Wednesday. And that's going to be a tough deal if something does happen. And yeah, everybody's being professional. It's a business, all of those things. But what message are you sending? Is going to be my final message before whatever happens before the trade deadline ends up happening. Because you're going to send a message. You either sending the message that the season is over. No, we not winning 9 straight games. It ain't going to happen. Forget it. If it's something that results in you planning for the future, if it isn't something that's going to help to get better next Sunday, then you're telling everybody you have given up on the season and you have made a change. Especially if it's to a group that isn't necessarily your issue. I mean, it's answered today about the defensive line where they're not as consistent, they're not this, they're not that. So we'll see what happens. But based on what happens, again, my resounding leadership message is, what message do you want to send? Do you want to send the message of, I'm putting my money on the team that I got right now, and I know that if this doesn't work out, I know what my future holds with this organization, but I'm going to ride out and I'm going to do my best and I'm going to make the adjustments that I need to within me and my coaching staff to get these guys on the winning side of this scoreboard, and we're going to ride this thing out. If they think they can win 9 straight games, who am I to tell them that they can't? Let's go out here and get it. If you trade somebody for future picks, you are saying the opposite of that. You just got to know what side of the locker room you want to be on at that point. Thank you all so much for sticking it out for the live discussion. You can still hit the love button. You can still share this show with your Washington Commanders loving family and friends. You all, this is from the Coaching from the Couch series, the Washington Commanders Update. I am your host, CWall. This is from Bowie Television. You can catch it each and every single day. Again, on Verizon Channel 11, Comcast Xfinity Channel 77, every day 1:30 to 2:30, and on the weekends during the noon hour. You all be blessed. I will be doing a live Bowie Television recording on Thursday as well to do all of the DMV sports, or the highlights from what's happening in DMV sports. So whatever happens, I guess we'll be talking about it on Thursday. I'll talk to you guys again soon.